Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Massive day yesterday, especially in regard to the next couple of years of Call of Duty play. Modern Warfare 2, we finally got some gameplay to be seen. Some good, some bad, certainly some ugly as well. We're going to dive into all of it today. Many pros circling back to the snaking issue, which seems to be immense in this title as it presently stands. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Loads of roster stuff going on as well. We'll discuss that later today, because we've got a lot to dive into here. First of all, the 38-time Call of Duty champion CleanX taken down by a man with a recorder. Just absolutely fantastic scenes. Obviously, everyone was talking about the game before it started, attached saying it's going to be not just the greatest COD ever, the greatest video game ever, so maybe that's going to break the curse to some extent of the last couple of years. All I'll say is, of the gameplay I've seen, it looks better than Call of Duty Vanguard. That, at least, is a solid as far as I'm concerned. To me, the maps are relatively key, and from what I've seen on the maps, the 6v6 ones, they look relatively decent. They're at least colourful, they're bright. Like, Infinity Ward's had a love affair for their entire lifespan, really. At least, apart from maybe Infinite Warfare, of actually making maps that look nice and bright and, you know, Treyarch-like and arcadey, let's say. Even back in Modern Warfare, they were so dismal and dark, it was awful. So, of course, yesterday they come out with the trailer, right? And we can see right here early on, there's the dolphin dive. The guy's, you know, going to run along this ledge here, and he's going to dolphin dive, kind of, well, potentially out the window, or at least down here. Now, having seen the dolphin dive in action, it doesn't seem, you can't use it every single gunfight. You can use it around corners to take someone off guard, but like it's not used in the same way the slide cancel is used. So I honestly like the way the movement is going. Now, of course, people are going to say, wow, should slide cancel even be gone? Should it be like, should that still be a mechanic? Because this game might therefore play slower than other titles. You can post up in a power position. No one can really slide cancel into you to take the gunfight, but that's how Call of Duty was for many years, and it worked perfectly fine. So I'm happy the movement system is changing to some degree, but I mean, yeah, the dolphin dive mechanic may be abusable. Now, I don't really know why they love to do all this Rainbow Six stuff nowadays. Look at this guy. He's got the heartbeat center, throws some sort of thing on the floor, and it blows up the guys above him. Like, look, I'm not really going to focus on the Warzone side or on what the multiplayer looks like from the casual side. And look, it might not be great. There's some things that don't look great as far as I'm concerned, but more from the competitive side. That's where I'm going to focus the discussion today. And that is probably what Nature would have liked to have seen as well, because, I mean, yeah, Joe Seacott couldn't stop going on about the water and how the, you know, the aquatic gameplay experience was going to be absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, look, we've had water before. Black Ops 3, there was water in that game, and, you know, it was used pretty well, but apparently I think you can only use the pistol in the water this time round, if they're even on many maps, actually. Now, yeah, they do mention ranked play for about 2 seconds, and then they kind of don't mention ranked play anymore, so we don't know if we're going to get it at launch or whatever, but at least ranked play is arriving at some point or another. Like, so look, that's all we can say on it for now, unfortunately, but hopefully they do a decent job of it. Now, I think there was some talk about the map design and stuff like this. Generally, what we've seen from the 6v6 maps, they look okay. Some of them aren't great, but I think the museum one looks pretty good. The flow seems to be all right. I think the map design across the board is kind of similar between them all, which I don't really mind, to be honest. I think they are more straightforward than what we've seen in previous titles, and when that's expanded to an entire map pool, I'm more optimistic for this year's maps than I have been for previous years, let's say. Especially because Terminal will more than likely return as an actual map in the game. So they went through the kind of war zone, and a lot of the points of interest are maps that we've seen in the past. Quarry for Modern Warfare 2, High Rise, for example. Like, plenty of the Modern Warfare 2 maps are actually making a return here in the Warzone map, which I guess is pretty cool, even though people were saying the gameplay of that doesn't look so good. But Terminal is back. Now, you'd imagine, right? I mean, they call it airports here in Warzone, but you would imagine that if Terminal is back for, like, a Warzone, you'd think that they'll actually make it into a proper map for the actual multiplayer game as well. Like, why would you not do that? So, and Terminal was a playable competitive map back in the day, so hopefully that's a thing as well. So there's some promising signs, I think, early on here, and the actual gunplay, having watched it, seems quite promising and certainly better than Vanguard. Now, let's dive into some of the actual mechanics of the game. So, as Modern Warzone says, there is no slide cancelling. That's not a mechanic anymore. Maybe they can find a way to still use it somehow, but Simp says he's excited. This is kind of interesting just because Crim in the past has kind of said that, you know, Simp and aBeZy, they're slide cancel merchants. They're only good in the slide cancel games. I guess, well, they've only played the slide cancel games in the CDL side, right? Whereas, you know, Simp, it's not like he was bad back in the jetpack era, but he was too young to compete at that point. And he actually says he's excited, right? So some teams that players excited. I'm sure that accuracy is absolutely over the moon with no slide cancel. That's why they kept him around for another year, knowing the movement was going to change. Because accuracy and the other metal boots ARs are going to be loving life with no slide cancel mechanic. I'm not sure he even hit a slide cancel last year, accuracy, so that's fantastic. This is some of the actual gameplay itself here. We see that Crim6 kind of, well, first of all, this guy is spawning right in front of him again and again. The spawns, I've seen some things that look like squad spawns. I'm not sure that's a massive surprise, really. There's a few things in this game that people people are getting frustrated about, then I'm like, well, look, is it really a surprise? This is what Infinity Ward we're going to do, and this particular example of the spawn doesn't look particularly good either, but, I mean, yeah, I don't know, the gunplay actually looks okay from my perspective. Here's Crimsix turning on someone as well. So a lot of people using the M4. Now, the pistol seems, well, it's interesting with the pistols, and the strength of the pistols is going to be quite key with some of these mechanics we'll look at, because you can only use the pistols underwater, and also there's this ledge hang mechanic we'll see here in a second, where you can only use the pistol, and if the pistols are good, then we might be in for a serious situation about this, because, well, we'll explain that here in a second. So Crim's turning on people. Now, these are some of the key features, right, as Chrome points out. Slide cancel is gone. Now, again, for some reason, they've done the minimap with no red dots on it. I'm pretty sure there's a perk you can put on which brings them back, but, like, I've no idea why that was the case. I'm pretty sure it was the case in, like, their pre-alpha builds, and they just changed their minds. The anti-cheat's going to be active. Now, this is also kind of key. Dead Silence is a field upgrade. We don't know yet if there's going to be a perk like Ninja to actually make it happen all the time, or if it's just going to be as it was back in Modern Warfare 2019. Like, no, I don't particularly like that, but maybe Footsteps in general are slightly more quiet this year than they were previously, so it might not be great, but it might not be absolutely terrible. Dolphin diving is back. Ledge hang mechanic. I mean, yeah, so here we go. First of all, just wanted to mention the perk system, which is, why do they insist on doing stuff like this? I don't understand. Why can't we just choose perks and have the perks? Instead, the way they're doing it now is you choose 4 perks, you get 2 of them at the start, and then as the game progresses, you get your bonus perk, and then you build up to an ultimate perk. So it's kind of like everyone has like a specialist going on, but some of the big perks you can only unlock after a few minutes of the game. Like, I don't know why they insist on doing this type of stuff. Why can't I just pick my perks? Like, why is it so complicated? But anyway, there's this perk called Bird's Eye that might be similar to Radar. Apparently it sounds pretty good because it zooms out the minimap, and I don't exactly know what's going on. For casual play, this might not be great, but for competitive, I'm sure they can find out a way with GAs or whatever game settings to make the game playable for competitive. They're going to have to find a way anyway. Now, there are some positive signs. First of all, destructible environments that we had in Vanguard, you know, smashing down the windows with the butt of your weapon, that's gone. We don't see that anymore. Fantastic scenes. I think that's good for competitive. Trophy systems are here as well from launch, so the pros will have to decide what they do. Must say, snipers did look rather strong from what I saw, so I don't know if the pros are going to have words about that already, or whether, you know, changes might be needed in due course to make them viable once again. And not too strong, but I really just don't think snipers can particularly be too strong, because you're never going to have, like, the pros running, you know, there's never going to be 4 snipers on the map unless they're ridiculous, or it's USS Texas from World War II. Now, the doors, we did talk about doors yesterday, but thankfully, from what I've seen, the doors look relatively limited. You haven't seen too many doors. They're not in every doorway. Like, I think, honestly, on the 6v6 side, it's better than I thought it would be, to be perfectly honest. So I think that's a promising sign. Definitely, you guys can leave your thoughts in the comment section below where the doors, because I don't think doors should exist in the first place, but if they are going to exist to some degree, they haven't done it in the worst possible way, I think, so far from what we have seen. So I think that's probably a good sign, in fairness. Now, this is the ledge hang mechanic. I don't know where they come up with these ideas from. I guess it's like Rainbow Six stuff. They just copy and paste it nowadays. But this is what Blake is doing here from OpTic. So seemingly, pretty much every single ledge like this, you can now make into a head glitch, right? Because you just hang on it with one hand, you bring your pistol out, and then you can just make, well, look at this head glitch that he's created, and you can snake it. You can just go up and down. And I mean, this seems like a ridiculous way to like hold a flank or something, because I mean, yeah, if you see a guy here and you engage in a gunfight, you could just drop off the ledge and run away. So I don't know if this feature should be enabled in competitive, whether it will be enabled in competitive. I think it depends on how strong the pistol is. If the pistol kills in 3 bullets, like, this is way too strong. If this kills in 4 bullets, 5 bullets, then maybe it's more viable. But I mean, yeah, I just think it's an interesting concept that pretty much everywhere on the map where there's something like this going on, you can just create your own little power position and cover, and you can snake it like this and move up and down effectively, and it's going to be difficult for them to spot you. So yeah, I don't know about this one personally. It's another interesting innovation that Infinity Ward and the developers have brought through, and also this kind of ledge hang mechanic could be used elsewhere to interesting effect. So this is probably the most egregious example I have seen so far. Cellium, I'm sure, is going to be absolutely loving this title the way it presently stands, and we saw him do this actually, I mean, to some extent last season on MW2 on the ladders, when you can pull the pistol out and shoot on the ladder. Similar type of thing. Now, there's also this that was spotted by Hitch actually, which I thought was rather interesting as well, that he tries to dolphin dive and, like, well, jump up, and he actually literally accidentally manages to ledge hang on this little ledge up here. So like that would be a crazy piece of movement to be able to pull off if you could do it consistently. Dolphin dive into a ledge hang. Like your character model would just be absolutely flying up out of control. So yeah, that's certainly interesting. I'm sure Cellium and Shotzzy are going to have a whale of a time with this. Now, for some reason, they've decided to do a third-person mode. I just don't get it, to be perfectly honest. And when Joe Seco was talking about, yeah, third-person hardpoint, third-person search and destroy, I was like, look, these guys just don't have a clue what's going on. Like, third-person search and destroy, there's a reason why third-person, of course, you can have third-person in previous COD games, but you can't play in it. You can just, like, watch other players in third-person. And it's always been incredibly exploitable, right? Because you can just see around corners. Like, search and destroy, you plant the bomb, you just hide behind a corner, you can see the bomb without even checking it around the corner. So, like, I don't know why they thought this is a cool idea, but you can now play in third-person mode, so congratulations, but not really too relevant because it's not going to happen in competitive play regardless. Now, some reaction to this I thought we'd dive into. So, as Octane says, a Call of Duty you can't slide cancel in for now feels so nice to watch. I think it was good to watch it, right, when players aren't just constantly slide cancel, slide cancel, slide cancel. They actually had to kind of run around like in the normal days. I thought was pretty good, and well, Octane says he's cautiously optimistic, so definitely some mixed opinions, right? And as Parasite says, fast time to kill and no crazy movements yet, there's got to be smoke. So I think like his idea would be that if you're posted up, right, with a relatively fast time to kill, a Modern Warfare-esque time to kill, and there's no like real movement mechanics to well, to take someone of a head glitch, then you're going to have some sort of smokes, right, to actually create some distance, because otherwise the ARs on the headies are just going to dominate. Now, apparently there are smokes in the game, but they look something like this. It's a field upgrade smoke airdrop where you can just drop like a wall of smoke. Now, I mean, this seems potentially too strong. I'd prefer it if you just had a smoke grenade you could throw. But yeah, apparently it's a field upgrade, which might be a very interesting idea for search and destroy or something. We don't know if this is going to happen. Well, we don't know, of course, what the pros are going to do, whether they're going to G8 or whatever, but I suppose let's stay tuned. But at least, you know, smokes, trophies, at least these things are in the game. And then the pros can decide what they do with them when it actually comes to deciding a rule set, whether they're too strong, whether they're not viable, or whatever the case is. But at least they're in the game to potentially be tweaked or whatever the case might be. Now, just to mention this, actually, from Octane and Envoy, is that for some reason these guys didn't get invited. 200 creators and players, this event looked really cool. Wish we could have gone. Octane and Envoy, of course, both based in Los Angeles, where this was going on for the Los Angeles Thieves, the team that won the World Championship. They even showed a clip at the start of the broadcast of them winning the World Championship. And as Envoy says, the champs didn't get a COD Next invite. So yeah, he's mind blown, not happy at all. Understandably so, because it looked like a good time, and the champs don't get to go. Crone was joking around that Infinity Ward probably don't even know who won the World Championship, so I guess you can't really blame them. So that's one side of things. Now, this is the snaking discussion here. Now, many players either abusing this already or getting used to it, because snaking seems very strong and officially back in business. The last couple of games, there's always been some talking points about, okay, yeah, snaking, we're going to change it, going to nerf it, going to make it more difficult to kind of crouch and stand up again. So this is methods doing it right here. You can see that you can crouch, go prone, and then stand up again very effectively in this game. This is Attach doing it, and it honestly looks like Infinite Warfare snaking in that when you do this, the guy on the other side can barely see you at all. I saw a clip where Methods was getting completely gunned by a fella that was just doing this behind a head glitch, and he came around the corner to try and kill him, and he just couldn't really see him at all. Like it was the same case in Infinite Warfare, right? Another Infinity Ward game where when you were snaking behind a head glitch like this, your character model is practically invisible because it seems like the character model is like disassociated with what the player can see from their perspective. So snaking is back in force. It's obviously been a thing in the last couple of titles, but apparently it's like even way worse in this game than it has been before. So either they will nerf it or they won't nerf it, because as SlasheR seems to believe he should actually keep it as it is. So SlasheR's changed his tune rather quickly, right, from being the kind of GA enforcer of a couple of years ago to now saying, no, we good, don't nerf it because I've got my boy Cellium on my team now, who's going to absolutely be loving life here. So I definitely think this game, a few of the features, Cellium is going to be enjoying himself a fair bit. We've got snaking, we've got ledge hanging, this type of stuff. But I mean, look, what do you guys think? First impressions of this game? Honestly, like, I think it's slightly better than I thought it would be, to be honest. The maps look more enjoyable. They look quite colourful. The gunplay looks good. The movement, I think, will take it for now. As Karma says, whether it's possible that Cellium finds a way to slide cancel or whatever in a couple of months' time, we shall have to stay tuned and find out about that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Once again, it's a game that's catered to the very casual player. I think they even said right at the start, right, doesn't matter if you're a camper or a slayer, you're like, we've made the game for you, which is like, okay, you know, whatever, it is what it is. We know what Infinity Ward are like, and of course, because they had the massive hit with Modern Warfare 2019, they're going to get the keys by Activision to kind of rinse and repeat exactly that. But compared to Modern Warfare 2019, compared to Vanguard especially, I do think this game looks a lot more promising, and as I've said, the maps really are key, and I think we have a decent step forward on that front front, certainly from last year at least. And also when you look at the possibility of Terminal, these other maps returning over time, like I think we're in for maybe a promising year. I think I'm going to stay maybe somewhat cautiously optimistic. I think the pros in general had a pretty good time, but there are obviously some frustrating features to be worked out over time. And well, just to mention this from Quote as well, that Zuma had to deal with Scan and Repair officially back in business. So yes, new game, save, Scan and Repair. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button and tell us on YouTube, God, this is a good video. I don't like you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.